The Daily Mail sent the royal watching community into a tizzy this weekend with the headline King and Harry to meet regularly as royal aides plan show of unity with first public appearance together in 6 years on the cards.
I think there's a big factor of people in the country who are thinking, oh, he's coming back and he's coming back to us and he's coming back maybe without Meghan. I think he'd be very well accepted in the land. I think his difficulty is going to be he would be accepted, but would, and this is the question I don't know the answer to, but would he and Meghan be
The
accepted?
perception of Harry isn't as bad as it is with Meghan because Harry gets on a plane and busts his hump and goes to the Invictus Games, and then goes to Africa and does, keeps up his mother's foundation. He does that. The royal is in him. You know what I mean? We've lost him. He's gone away from the coop. He's the prodigal son. If he comes back, he will be received, but he must come back alone.
Some of the messages I received in my inbox over this included, sounds like a divorce is underway. Ugh. And I don't buy that article. Here are some highlights of said article. High-level talks are underway to gradually bring King Charles and Prince Harry together in a public show of unity for the first time in at least 6 years. The article reads, in the strongest indication yet that the Duke of Sussex is making positive steps towards a reconciliation with senior royals, it is understood that courtiers in both households, why the hell would Prince Harry have courtiers? He's just an American that surfs and smokes a little weed every now and then. Why would he need courtiers? Are tentatively discussing how to get father and son together more frequently over the next year. The Daily Mail claims that sources say that as part of the cautious plans being drawn up to resolve the crisis, Harry agreed to keep a low profile during Donald Trump's visit as a goodwill gesture to his father. Yet, we saw Meghan picking strawberries on Instagram, promoting her lifestyle brand during the brief visit. So is that accurate? Harry might take part in more UK public events, though not officially as a working member of the royal family, the article says. He is said to be hopeful of reestablishing a relationship with William, despite the frostiness between them since Megxit. Well, as my grandma always says, wish in one hand, ... This line is important. Despite the cautious positive steps, Harry is said to be realistic that some reputational damage from the last few years is irreversible. You don't say. Offensively, a source told the Daily Mail Harry's visit to the UK was not about trying to show up or compete with his brother. In fact, the opposite. It was to remind William that Harry can be there to take some of the load off, given some of the criticism William has received for carrying out a lower number of engagements than his father. William's not the king. Don't get me started on this argument, okay? William's not the king. If the king wants to do more, engagements, I mean, he is the king. So go ahead and, do what you want to do, but don't get me started on this argument. The article says Harry, who plans to come to the UK 4 or 5 times a year from now on, is said to be hopeful that he can at least find a working relationship with William. Whatever he can do to continue rebuilding those relationships and that trust, he will do, a source said. Well, he's not doing a very good job, considering the fact that Us Weekly and Page Six almost immediately leaked details of the alleged details of the private meeting between Harry and his father, wildly sympathetic towards the Sussexes, claiming Prince Harry recently reconnected with King Charles after sending a handwritten letter earlier this year expressing his wish to rebuild their relationship. According to Us Weekly, the meeting was described as emotional and positive. They spoke about Harry's children and King Charles's health amid his cancer battle. The reunion included hugs, tears, and a long embrace, with both father and son moved by how much they'd missed each other. Allegedly. And don't get me started on the Guardian article, where Prince Harry refuses to take any accountability. He says his conscience is clear, and he never sold trash for cash. That's adorable. I'm sure Prince William loved seeing that in print. Hey guys, real quick, I want to share a brand with you that I love, Peak. Peak has taken a modern, science-based approach to wellness, creating tea crystals and superfood blends made with exceptionally clean ingredients. Their products are all about making daily health habits easier and more effective, whether that's supporting digestion, glowing skin, steady energy, or just feeling your best. Personally, hydration was always a struggle for me. I drank plenty of water, experimented with electrolytes, and even stuck to the right skincare routine. Yet I still dealt with dry skin, brain fog, and restless nights. That shifted when I started Peak's deep hydration protocol. In the morning, I use BT Fountain, their beauty electrolyte. It helps hydrate from within, smooth skin, and gives me lasting energy. In the evening, I switch to RE Fountain, the calming electrolyte, which contains a gentle form of magnesium that eases tension and helps me get deep, restful sleep without feeling groggy the next day. What sets it apart for me is the purity. No sugar, no fillers, no artificial flavors, just real ingredients like lemon juice and beetroot. Within a week, I noticed my skin looking more plump and hydrated, my focus sharper, and my overall energy had improved. If you want to give it a try, I've got a special link in the show notes just for you. 20% off for life plus a free gift with my link, peaklife.com/Kinsey. That's PIQUE life.com/Kinsey. One of my favorite comments read, insulting his brother in every puff piece they put out is an odd strategy. I completely agree. The Daily Mail reports if the king does play a significant role in rehabilitating Harry, it will not be the first time he's done this for someone close. He faced an uphill battle to have Camilla accepted publicly and worked closely with his mother on a message she issued during her Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Royal sources now believe the same could happen for Harry. The irony is that this specific venture, Camilla's PR campaign taking priority over their relationship and Harry's own public image, is one of Harry's most significant grievances against his father. Harry condemns the palace's never complain, never explain mantra as harmful, yet he often follows it himself by staying silent when stories make him look bad, African Parks charity. At the same time, he leaks stories about the palace to his advantage. The hypocrisy lies in criticizing the very tactic he practices: silence when convenient and selective disclosure when it's useful to him. It is my personal opinion that Prince Harry is selfish, not that bright, and cannot be trusted. I've recently had multiple guests appear on KSU and express their opinion that Prince Harry could redeem himself. I disagree with them. Family aside, if you had an employee who behaved in the same way Prince Harry and Meghan Markle behaved, there would be no turning back. There would be immediate termination. There would be threats of liable. I mean, Harry and Meghan's behavior has been so unacceptable over the last 5 years. Now, the British royal family is not legally a business, but it operates in many ways like one. Officially, the monarchy is a constitutional institution funded mainly through the sovereign grant, which comes from Crown estate profits, along with private income from estates like the duchies of Cornwall and Lancaster. However, the royals manage their image much like a corporate brand, with carefully controlled PR, defined roles for senior members, and a focus on maintaining popularity and relevance. Their presence also generates significant revenue for the UK through tourism. Just look at me and my bank account. And global media attention. This dual identity family and institution has earned them the nickname the Firm, highlighting how the monarchy functions less like a traditional family and more like a business enterprise built on survival, influence, and image management. Setting aside the father and son element, which has already been covered here, so don't come at me for ignoring both sides. You can watch Rupert Bell or Hugo Vickers last week for that. I want to focus instead on the business side of Harry's betrayal and why I still see him as an incredible liability to the institution or firm. Breach of trust. Confidentiality is the foundation of any business relationship. Once an employee has sold private information, they've proven they cannot be trusted with sensitive info. Rehiring them would send a message to other employees that breaches of trust are forgivable, undermining internal accountability. The risk of repeated misconduct is high since they've already demonstrated a willingness to put personal gain above the company or the firm's interests. Damage to the reputation of the royal family or the company. Let's pretend it's a company still. The individual has already spoken negatively about the company in public forums, which indeed harmed the brand's reputation and popularity. Bringing them back could reignite public criticism, with people questioning why the company would rehire someone who actively tried to damage it. The optics of rehiring could make the company appear desperate, weak, or unconcerned about its own values. Impact on company culture. Basically, how would this affect Prince William and Catherine? Rehiring this individual would signal the current or two current employees that unethical behavior has no lasting consequences. It could demoralize loyal staff who have upheld those standards. I mean, I say it constantly, talking about how selfless Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has been. She's given up her entire adult life for this institution. And trust within teams would erode, making collaboration and innovation harder. If someone has already had a negative experience with the Sussexes and they're forced to work with the Sussexes again, can you blame them if they've got a bad attitude or have no desire to do that? Lack of accountability. They have refused to acknowledge or take responsibility for their actions. Without accountability, there is no basis to believe their behavior will change. A second chance is only reasonable if there is genuine remorse, learning, and a plan for corrective action, which are absent here, completely absent. Rehiring Harry, I should have done air quotes there, would create an ongoing liability, not an asset. His past actions show a pattern of disloyalty, recklessness, and disregard for the institution's well being. For the sake of protecting trust, reputation, and long term stability, the firm should not allow him back into the fold. But before we start the change.org petition, we'll pump the brakes here for a second. True or false, incognito mode makes you invisible on the internet. The answer is actually false. Most people have no idea, but your browsing history can still be monitored or even recorded unless you use today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. Now, ExpressVPN reroutes your internet traffic through a secure encrypted tunnel, protecting your data from hackers, advertisers, and even your internet service provider. Depending on where you live, ISPs can actually be required to log your activity or even worse, legally sell your browsing history. ExpressVPN makes sure that doesn't happen. It also lets you change your online location so you can access geo-locked content on streaming platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus, and BBC iPlayer. With servers in over 100 countries, you can unlock thousands of new shows and movies from around the globe. Setup is simple, just one click to connect, and it works across all your devices, phones, laptops, tablets, even smart TVs. Speeds are blazing fast, so you can stream in HD with zero buffering. I've used ExpressVPN while traveling, and it gave me real peace of mind. Protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/Kinsey to get up to 4 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/Kinsey. Rebecca English, also of the Daily Mail, says that these claims have angered her sources within the palace and within the working royal family, saying, "It is also clear there are fears that some in Team Harry may be using this month's baby step forwards in the broken relationship between father and son to perhaps sinisterly drive a wedge between the king and his elder son and heir." Well, that's a no-brainer. I've seen a million of you guys say this is just Harry trying to wreak havoc between the king and Prince William, which I think that is a very fair theory. English stresses Harry will never be allowed to return as a half in, half out working royal, and claims he could take some of the load off his brother, Prince William, are wide of the mark. Wide of the mark. Like, I think that the translation for that is no way in hell. When hell freezes over, perhaps is the official one. I'll have to open a book. One royal insider told Rebecca English, if the intention is to encourage a rebuilding of trust in relationships, these syrupy briefings from supposed Sussex sources serve the precise opposite effect. They added, and I love this acknowledgement, as last week's state visit clearly demonstrated, the power and impact of the modern monarchy lies in the unshakable bond between the king and the Prince of Wales, supported by other working members of the family. According to English, a well-placed royal source told the Daily Mail firmly, the king is a forgiving man, but has been absolutely clear in upholding his late mother's decision that there cannot be half in, half out members of the working royal family. Now, the Telegraph's Hannah Furness agreed this weekend, or is it Furness? Furness is sexier. Hannah Furness, I'm going to assume, agreed this weekend with the headline, King makes it clear Harry cannot be half in, half out royal. The Telegraph says Harry will not be permitted to join the royal family in any official public role. And while I respect my guests and their personal opinions about Prince Harry's place in the royal family or ability to re-win over the public, my position is clear. Harry brings no value to the modern monarchy. This comes down to trust, accountability, and the long-term strength of the institution. He's already shown he will put his own interests above the stability of the firm. He sold secrets. He publicly disparaged his family, damaging its reputation. And to this day, he refuses to take responsibility. Allowing Prince Harry back would risk another breach and send the message that the royal family's values are negotiable, that betrayal can be overlooked. The truth is, he's not an asset to the institution. He is a threat, in my personal opinion. And that is a risk the monarchy cannot afford to take. Agree with me, disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kinsey Schofield.